The Itaya Pass, renowned as a difficult section second only to the Usui Pass, has troubled many vehicles, even though it did not adopt the ABT system. With the construction plan for a long tunnel becoming a reality, the pass itself is destined to be abolished, but there were various dramas during the JNR era. After the war, even the electrification of JNR required the permission of the occupying forces, and repeated petitions were made for the electrification of the Itaya Pass. Finally, electrification was permitted and completed in 1949, shortening the travel time between Fukushima and Yonezawa by more than 30 minutes. The freight locomotive EF-15 was introduced as the hauling machine, and both passenger and freight trains were hauled by the same locomotive. Although the introduction of freight electric locomotives allowed for slow but sure climbing, there were problems with braking on the descent. Without electric brakes, continuous braking with friction brakes was necessary, and since they were tread brakes, the tires and brake shoes were continuously exposed to high temperatures. The wear was severe, and the tires frequently experienced thermal expansion, causing the wheel rims to loosen, with up to 300 incidents occurring annually. As an emergency measure, intermediate stops for cooling and spraying water on the braking system were implemented, and water tanks were even placed on the roofs of locomotives, but these were not fundamental solutions. Therefore, regenerative braking systems were installed, and the EF-15 was equipped with a direct current regenerative brake, which was rare at the time. The locomotive was designated as the EF-16, creating a dedicated vehicle for the Itaya Pass. To make regenerative braking effective on lines with few trains, it was necessary to return the power to the original power system, which was achieved by connecting the mercury rectifiers at the substations to inverters. Although a regenerative rate of nearly 40% was achieved, there were troubles due to the difficulty of handling, and direct current regenerative braking was abolished with the later introduction of the EF-64. At that time, the O main line was mainly composed of local trains with short formations, and local passenger trains could be hauled by a single locomotive, while long formations and freight required double heading. Occasionally, triple heading could be seen, possibly for repositioning. While the Takedo and Sanayo main lines began operating glamorous express trains, the momentum for operating superior trains to the Tohoku region also increased, and express passenger trains such as the Tsugaru and Chokai appeared on the O main line. The travel time between Ueno and Akita was reduced to less than 12 hours. These were among the few express trains that directly connected the northern Tohoku region to the Tokyo metropolitan area at the time. Due to the high number of migrant workers traveling to the metropolitan area, these trains were often called success trains as they were used by workers returning home after earning money. At the end of 1960, the first DMU express train, the Hatsukari, began operation between Ueno and Aomori via the Joban line. Although the introduction of new technology was held back, and vehicles using conventional technology were deployed to ensure cautious operation, the initial period was plagued with many troubles. Despite this, expectations for DMU express trains continued to rise, and there was a nationwide movement demanding smoke-free express trains for local villages. Through the dedicated efforts of those involved, the troubles with the 81 series DMUs were gradually overcome. In the October 1961 timetable revision, mass production of the Kiha 82 series began, contributing significantly to the increase in express train services. The Tsubasa appeared on the O main line, and since the Hatsukari avoided gradients by using the Joban line, the southern Tohoku main line, which had been left behind in terms of express services, finally saw the realization of express train operations. However, even this new DMU express train faced the challenge of the Itaya Pass. Despite being an express train, its power unit was essentially the same as the main semi-express DMU of the time, the Kiha 55. With the addition of air conditioning and soundproofing, the train's weight increased. Moreover, to ensure a maximum operating speed of 100 km per hour, the reduction ratio was changed from the conventional DMU's 2.976 to a high-speed specification of 2.613. At that time, the maximum operating speed of DMUs was generally 95 km per hour for all vehicles. To achieve a 5% increase in speed, a nearly 14% reduction in the reduction ratio was implemented. For DMUs like the Kiha 58 and Kiha 55, which were used for superior trains, the reduction ratio was set on the premise that continuous high-speed running would not be frequent. This was to maximize acceleration performance with the underpowered engine and increase the balancing speed on gradients. When the wheels wore down, they needed to be replaced when their diameter reached 780 mm, and the specified maximum speed had to be achievable at this diameter. However, with these DMUs, even when the DMH-17 engine was revved up to its usual maximum of 1800 rpm, they could only reach 89 km per hour. This was not acceptable for express DMUs. For DMUs operating from metropolitan areas to rural regions, they not only ran on electrified sections with improved tracks but also frequently traversed many non-electrified main lines with high standard tracks at the time. Therefore, they were designed so that even at the maximum wheel wear state, they could reach 100 km per hour without exceeding the engine's usual maximum RPM. The reduction ratio of 2.613 was set to allow for 101 km per hour at the maximum wheel wear state, meeting the original specifications. While this ensured readiness for high-speed operation, it became a drawback on gradient sections. Comparing the 82 series formation, for cars with 2 engines and 2 cars with 1 engine, with the Kiha 55 and 26 formations, there was a significant performance difference. At a 10 per mile balancing speed, the Kiha 55 formation approached 100 km per hour, whereas the 82 series formation barely exceeded 80 km per hour. At a 33.3 per mile balancing speed, there was a 5 km per hour difference. To prevent overheating of the exhaust pipes, operation using the hydraulic transmission on continuous gradients was limited to 4 notches, and at a 33.3 per mile gradient, the speed was 23 km per hour, just clearing the minimum continuous operating speed of the hydraulic transmission. Therefore, theoretically, it was possible to climb the Itaya Pass on its own, but the travel time between Fukushima and Yonezawa would exceed 1 hour and 10 minutes, making it unfit for an express train. Thus, assistance from a helper locomotive was sought, and the EF-16 was used for cooperative operation to cross the pass. With a formation of 6 DMUs, although acceleration capacity was limited, the EF-16 alone could manage to pull the 82 series in an unpowered state over the pass. The EF-16 operated in parallel full-field mode, climbing at speeds over 40 km per hour. In coordination with the 82 series running at 4 notches, speeds over 50 km per hour were possible, reducing the travel time between Fukushima and Yonezawa to a minimum of 54 minutes, thus maintaining the dignity of an express train. Without the helper locomotive, the average speed in this section would have fallen below 40 km per hour, but thanks to the helper, it improved to 47 km per hour. This cooperative operation, along with the thorough test runs of the 82 series before entering service, resulted in no significant troubles over the 3 years it continued. In an era when passengers would step back on the platform to watch the first-class observation car pass by, express trains were considered a luxury. Amidst this, the birth of the DMU Express Tsubasa, in a region previously thought to be unrelated to express trains, brought immense anticipation. Riding on the sleek, air-conditioned trains was a dream for the local people, and the expectations were unimaginably high.